And we are live. Okay, so it is 3 p.m. Wednesday, the 20th of October. And as promised, we are streaming live here on the New Zealand Health and Safety Professionals Facebook group. And this session is all about absolutely crushing LinkedIn. Now, I just read an article in the New Zealand Herald today based on some research that Microsoft have done on a global level. They are predicting 4 million people in the United States will be moving jobs in the new year. And they are predicting an entire global movement over the next 6 to 12 months with workers who are basically ready for a change, are looking for a difference. And LinkedIn is going to become, and already is arguably, one of the most important places for all of us to be getting right. So what we're going to be doing over the next 40 minutes or so is I'm going to be giving you a bit of a deep dive look into how to get the very most out of your LinkedIn profile and some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to the LinkedIn etiquette. I'll give us a bit of a insider's look into how it has benefited me personally and my business. I'll also give you a bit of an insight into why I believe and why many others believe that LinkedIn is going to become the hot place to be over the next 12 months and beyond. So look, it's still early days. What I'm going to be doing is just giving us a couple of minutes whilst people find their spaces and jump on board for this live broadcast. This also has the option of posting directly within this live feed on the Facebook group, and I can see those comments and I can share them on this screen. So for those of you that are tuning in live, let me know you're here by simply typing in live and perhaps where you're tuning in from. So jump on your keyboards in the comments section within this live broadcast, type in the words live, or if you're watching the recording, which will be made available afterwards, type in recording and then let me know whereabouts you're coming in from, and I'll make sure to share the comments as they come in. All right, we've got a live from Whangarei. All right, welcome. It's great to have you here. Where else is everyone coming from at the moment? As I said, I've got you probably for the next 40 minutes or so, just giving people a few moments just to get themselves comfortable, getting themselves used to this platform, and then I'll kick off with the content. All right, we've got live level 3 audits. Yes, it's interesting times for sure. I've got other live members coming in thick and fast now. This is awesome. You know where I am, haha. So it's awesome to have you guys here. I'm expecting many more to be joining us over the next wee while. So I'm just building up the presentation, giving you guys a bit of a sense as to what to expect over the next 40 minutes or so. Hopefully you guys have also got your mitts on the LinkedIn Masterclass workbook that goes hand in hand with this presentation. This is 16 pages of pure gold. Okay, so if you haven't got your mitts on this, I strongly recommend you do. It's available. The link is in the event part of the NZHSP Facebook group. It's also mentioned in the wee post I did about 2 hours ago, and it's got the link that will take you directly to this handout. This will turbocharge your results. It will give you a space to stop and to think and to contemplate on some of the key points that I'll be making over the next few moments. Awesome. Great to have you guys with us. All right. Please, by all means, let me know where you guys are coming in from. Be sure to let me know if you're watching live or if you're watching the recording. If you're watching the recording, be sure to type in recording and also where you are watching this from. Okay, so 5 minutes past the hour. Let's kick into this awesome stuff. So what are we talking about? LinkedIn. I'm also going to just quickly give you a bit of an introduction into who I am. I'll make the screen a lot bigger. There we go. Wonders of tech. So very briefly, who am I? I'm Matt Jones. I'm the founder of the NZHSP group. I founded it back in 2016 when I launched Advanced Safety, my health and safety consultancy. I've been involved in health and safety now for the best part of 12 years, based down in Canterbury, but serving businesses throughout New Zealand and beyond. I founded the New Zealand Health and Safety Professionals because I saw a need for a community. We had professional bodies and professional groups, but as a community, I felt that we were still very much isolated, working in our silos and not really feeling very connected. So I created NZHSP on LinkedIn back in the day to see if I was among other people that felt the same. Within a matter of months, the group grew to a number of 100 members. So I knew that I was onto something. It led to a conference here in Christchurch. We had a full-day conference back in 2018, full-day conference, 130 people attended. It was amazing with keynote speakers from Australia and from across the country. Then we had a live webinar event in 2019. It was online, something that hadn't been done before. It was just long before everyone was getting used to Zoom conferences. We had a keynote speaker from Australia and our very own John O'Brent here, who at the time was the CEO of Kinetics, talking to us about safety too. We've always been at the forefront of health and safety, cutting edge, really carving the way in which we can produce a community within our health and safety space. More recently, we launched NZHSP on Facebook, and now we have almost 3,000 members between LinkedIn and Facebook, all free. Doing this purely because I want to make a difference, and so do many of the other people that have helped me to produce the content and the events and everything else that we've done over the years. So that's a little bit about me. But what I want to do now is start to get into some of the meaty content. Because many of you have jumped in on the live show, please, by all means, feel free to fire through questions and any feedback that you might have during this presentation. As I've already shown, I can share your comments on my screen as well. Unfortunately, I can't see your name. So for those of you who are assuming that I can see your name on the screen, unfortunately, I can't at the moment, but I can certainly see what you are commenting. So by all means, fire through your questions. The content is going to be pretty in depth. So those handout manuals are going to really help with that process. The style. I'm going to be going through this in a thick and fast way. Okay, so I'm basically asking your permission to come at this with a lot of passion, a lot of energy, and keep the engine running. And as well as that, I'm going to promise to you guys that at the end of this session, I'll provide you with some insight and some guidance in terms of where you can find additional information once we go offline. So without further ado, this is the LinkedIn Masterclass presentation. Let's kick off. Okay, so topics for today. We're going to be discussing briefly what LinkedIn is and what it isn't. What does defining your niche and your unique selling point mean, and why it's extremely important to get this right? Developing your prospect profile. Who is your ideal client? Who is your ideal employer? What kind of businesses do you really want to be working with in the future? Creating your authority leadership statement. Now, we've got the ability to have a profile picture. We've got the ability to have a brief description about who we are. The authority leadership statement is all about this. It's setting a tone immediately in front of your ideal prospects. How do we do that? And how can it be made really simple? And then last but not least is taking action, inspiring you guys, lighting that fire to ensure that you make a massive impact in the LinkedIn space and make a big splash when it comes to either finding that next big client, Jeff, or landing that next big job in the future. And we've also got someone coming in live from Manamata. All right, awesome. I love it. All right, brilliant, awesome. Keep the comments coming, guys. I'll make a point of sharing them. Awesome. Good to hear from you, Jeff. Okay, so let's go, team. What is LinkedIn? Okay, so one of the first things I really want to make crystal clear is that not all social media platforms are the same. So whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, they all have a slightly different nuance. Now, who of you who are tuning in live would agree with that? Simply type in yes or no, or I'm not sure into the comments box, and I'll share that with the rest of the group. So what's your thoughts? Are all social media platforms the same, or do you agree with me and say that they're all different? So it's a yes if you agree with me. Yeah, cool, awesome, love it. Lots of yeses coming through. What you're basically telling me is that you agree with me that not all platforms are the same. Great stuff. Loving it, team. Thank you for sharing your comments. Getting lots of yeses coming through. Love it. Thank you. All right, team. So what is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a social network that's all about professional networking. In its early inception, it was a way in which to replace the traditional CV. It was a way of getting in front of potential customers and clients, promoting your business, promoting what it was you sold, and also being able to get in front of the people that you wanted to be doing business with. As time's gone on, it's really started to take on its own flavor, its own presence. You'll begin to notice that if you have experimented with posting content on LinkedIn, if you try to post things about the family holiday, or if you try to post things that perhaps might be a little bit political, you'll find that very quickly you either receive some negative feedback or you get no response at all. It's really a space where people really highly value valuable content. If you're providing insight, if you're providing content that brings them value and allows them to take action on what you have said, you'll find that you'll get a really significant increase in the level of buy-in and engagement from the people that you are dealing with. So it's a really professional space. It's a space where you need to think hard about the audience you're talking to, and you also need to think wisely about the way in which you respond to others' content. Cool. Okay, now LinkedIn has got absolutely massive. These stats are from last year, and I know for a fact that these numbers are now a little bit low. I need to update this particular slide. So at the time of putting this presentation together, LinkedIn had over 546 million users, representing over 200 countries. 30 million companies are on LinkedIn. 90% of recruiters use LinkedIn regularly. If you're a regular user of LinkedIn, you'll know this, that they are continuously shoulder tapping, continuously reaching out to see if you are looking for any further work. Best time to post is on a Thursday. I've found Thursdays anywhere between 11 a.m. and perhaps 1:30, 2 p.m. on a Thursday seems to be a really good time to be engaging and getting involved in LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is by far the largest professional network out there. It's growing at a pace, and it is really starting to dominate the social media space. If ever there was a time to be putting time and effort into your profile and into your space within LinkedIn, now would be the time to do it. Okay, so now we're delving into the guts of the content. So how do we make an impact on LinkedIn? So for those of you who have got your workbooks, we're going to be going through these 3 sections separately. I'm going to be defining and helping to enable you to explore some of these topics. And then at the end, you're going to then pile it all together. And I would love to see you guys take some action. And I would love to be able to see, perhaps you could share some screenshots of what you've done as a result of this training, perhaps within the NZHSP Facebook group. All right, team. So before I kick into the full details of this presentation, I just wanted to check in to make sure that the volume's okay. I just wanted to check in that the pace is all good, that my energy levels aren't too annoying. I've had a few coffees today. Hopefully it's not too disturbing. Cool. All right, looks like it's all good. Everyone happy? All right, team. Okay, so for those of you who got your workbooks, now's the time to, awesome, thank you, to grab your pens, grab those workbooks, and let's start working through some of this content. For those of you that don't have a copy of the workbook right now, be sure to follow the link in the event page within the NZHSP group or within that little live video I did earlier on today that also has the link that will get you through to it. All right, team, defining your niche and your unique selling point. All right, it looks like the pace and sound is all good. Awesome. Okay, thank you very much. All right, team, let's do this. I'm sure you are all experiencing this as well. I'm finding that my inbox is just getting busier and busier and busier. And so are your ideal prospects, whether they are businesses that you're trying to do work with. Maybe you are working as a B2B, maybe you are a consultant or an advisor, an independent person trying to work with some of your ideal clients. Or you are someone who is currently on the hunt for that next big job. And as I said at the beginning of this presentation, you're not alone. There are millions of people on a global scale who are now beginning to make it clear that they're getting ready and prepared to make that move. Due in part to COVID lockdowns on a global level, people have had some pretty awful experiences of working from home where work expectations have risen, if anything, and now when they are now beginning to return back to the place of work, they're finding they didn't really get a lot of thanks or gratitude for their efforts. There's a lot of factors in this, but this is one of the big ones that the Microsoft research, which this article was based on, is now starting to suggest is that there is going to be a tidal wave of people looking for work, and there's going to be a tidal wave of people trying to get the attention of your ideal clients and your ideal employers. So how do we cut through the noise? And it's all about this cool thing called defining your niche. So how do we define our niche? Well, how do we make them to sit up and to take notice of what we have to say? When I go through and look at profiles on LinkedIn, and I do this from time to time because I'm nosy. I've also got some just shy of 6,000 connections on LinkedIn now. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, and I'm actually quite careful in the people that I choose to have within my circle. What I see with profiles is often that it's very vague as to what the individual does. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what I mean by that. By defining your niche, we want to break it down into these 4 little pockets. What industry do you like to work in? What market segment specific do we really enjoy spending our time? Who is your ideal prospect? Who is that individual? And what is the reason or their current pain point that they want to listen to what you have to say or to sit up and take notice of what it is you can bring to the table? So here's an example. So I see this a lot, and especially in the health and safety space. I work in safety. I help my clients to stay safe, which is really very vague. Okay, so yes, you work in safety. Awesome. You work with clients. Okay, what kind of clients? Big clients, small clients, medium? What industry? I've got no idea. All I know is that you work in health and safety and you want to keep people safe. That's great, but it's not going to get me to sit up and to take notice really of what you have to say. I'm a busy business person, and I've got 1,000,001 emails to attend to, and I've only got a small window of time to look through my LinkedIn feed. That's not going to get people's attention. Here's an example of a niche that's starting to get a little bit better, a little bit more specific. A health and safety leader. I like to work with project management companies. That's the market segment. The ideal prospect? Not sure. And I help them meet their legal duties. And this is another example of the type of profile statement that I see a lot on LinkedIn. Not necessarily within the health and safety space. It can be in all the various spaces, but this is the type of kind of broadly vague definition. A health and safety leader. I work with project management companies and I help them meet their legal duties. It's getting better, certainly going to start to get some people's attention. But when you really want to hammer it home, this is a really good example of what good looks like. I'm a professional health and safety leader. I enjoy working with project management companies, helping executives meet their legal duties. All of a sudden, you're talking directly to the people that you want to be speaking to. Now, this is actually a bit of an insight into kind of what you would expect to see if you were looking at my profile page. I'm a health and safety professional. I consider myself a leader within this space. I do enjoy working with project management companies. My main target audience are the executives. At the end of the day, they're the ones in charge of the purse strings. I'm a consultant, so I'm working B2B, and I help the executives to meet their legal duties under the Health and Safety at Work Act. Now, near the end of this presentation, I'm actually going to show you exactly what my profile page looks like, and I'll talk you through some of the things that I've learned over the years, which have really helped to get people's attention. So, guys, is this kind of making sense so far? Is this content valuable to you? If so, again, in the comments within this live feed, let me know. Is this stuff useful? Is this hitting home to what you're looking for? Does this is this making you think, oh, sweet, I'm nailing it, I've got this, or there might be some room for or opportunity for improvement on your current profile? Let me know in the comments box, and I'll keep working through the slides. So what's your thoughts, team? Is this hitting home, or are you all over it, totally smashing LinkedIn already? I'm just going to grab a glass of water. Cool. Making sense. Thumbs up. All right. Awesome. Thanks, team. Love it. And for those who are watching the recording of this session, by all means, please feel free to stick in your thoughts and comments too. It will all get captured during the recording, so it all pops up at the right time, and everyone will be able to contribute and to be able to jump in on this. Right. So in your workbooks, you'll also see this define your niche space, where you can start to jot down ideas and thoughts, thinking about the industry that you specialize in. So maybe it's the space that you've spent many years working in, the market segment. So the industry could be health and safety advisor, professional, manager, coordinator even. The market segment. So what section of the business world have you got speciality in? Is it state-owned enterprise? Is it commercial? Is it corporate? Is it small trades? Is it construction? All the way through to hospitality and beyond. Really start to get specific on this stuff. I know it seems like by doing that, you are beginning to reduce and limit the number of people that may pay attention to what you have to say and perhaps look at your profile and perhaps want to engage with you. But the more refined and the more niched you become, the louder your presence, and the louder and more likely the content that you comment on or engage with is going to resonate with your ideal client or your ideal employer. So really spend some time on this. I really do recommend really getting clearly defined on this. Another top tip is to complete this, and then perhaps to share it with a loved one or one of your colleagues that you trust to get their feedback as well. Sometimes your speciality might not necessarily be what you think it is. All right, team. So that is all about defining your niche. Now we're going to be talking about defining your unique selling point. So this is your passion. This is your purpose. This is what gets you up each day to work, to get through the day, to grind it out. So asking yourself the questions of, why is it you do what you do? What motivates you? What makes your blood boil? What really gets you highly engaged and highly motivated to do what needs to be done? And what are the things that have made you most proud? Now, good question. I'll share that in a second. The unique selling point is another key item to really hone in on, because everyone has a different story to tell. And storytelling is a really big part of not only human nature. We've been telling stories around the fires for millennia. But because stories, if pitched in a particular way where you've got the audience at the front of your mind, will appeal to them, and before you know it, you'll start to gain the attention. You'll start to gain follows from your ideal customers, from your ideal employers. If you can really pause and think about what are some of those things that really keep you motivated, keep you going, then you really start to find that the way in which you respond to a post, the way in which you comment on LinkedIn will begin to really become quite clearly defined. Now, there's a really cool question that's just come through. I'm just going to share it on the screen. How to portray multiple industries that you specialize in, or is it better to just have one? My recommendation is to really boil it down to one key industry. So, for example, right, I said at the beginning, I've been involved in health and safety now for well over a decade. My speciality is construction, but I've also had a lot of experience in managing state-owned enterprises, being in charge of several hundred people, being responsible for them, working through massive health and safety management systems at the enterprise C-suite level, all the way down to father and son sole traders, civil contracts, manufacturing, the list goes on. But I just know that my happy place, where I feel most passionate about, and where I've got a lot of pride in a lot of the work that I've done in the past, is firmly within the construction sector. And I've built a bit of a love and a bit of a niche within the project management space. I really enjoy helping large national project management companies getting over the hurdles of traditional contractor management and working through using risk management systems and frameworks to make it as simple as I possibly can for them. So I'd really, in a long-winded way of answering your question, I would really recommend sticking to one particular industry and think hard about what really motivates you, what keeps you going, and then try and relay that back to the type of industry and the type of business that you enjoy working with. Hopefully that answers your question. Let me know if I have. And for others, hopefully that will help to define your particular niche and your particular unique selling point. Trying to keep it as specific as you possibly can makes a huge difference to the level of impact that you'll make on LinkedIn. Cool. All right, team. I'm going to keep on rocking on because I know we've got quite a bit to cover. Okay. So as I said, defining your unique selling point. What are you good at? What are your strengths? What can you bring to the table? What problems can you help businesses solve? So I mentioned earlier the project management companies, one of their biggest issues is the management of their contractors. It's also the uncertainty around duty holder responsibilities. There's still a lot of project management companies out there who believe that they can, although they wouldn't say it in these terms, believe that they can contract out their responsibilities. And it's my job and my passion to help them to understand their responsibilities and also to help them put those responsibilities into action in a simple and clearly defined way. So I'm just taking another swig of water. All right, team. And so combining all of these together, this is where we start to find the sweet spot. So if we think about our strengths, if we think about our passions, and then if we think about the opportunities that are out there in the marketplace at the moment, and I've just mentioned that there's a massive move on a global level where people are now starting to dust off their CVs, they're starting to dust off their profiles on LinkedIn, and they're now beginning to move back into actively looking for new work and potentially moving into consulting and setting up their own businesses. Now's the time to really clearly define what you're passionate about and what your strengths are. What is your story when it comes to your profession and your experiences, and then identifying the opportunities within there. So whatever industry it is that you really enjoy working with, whatever types of businesses you enjoy working with, there are opportunities there to get involved with them. And the next part of this puzzle is to then how to engage and to interact with those companies and those individuals within the LinkedIn space. All right, gang, just another quick check-in with you all. So is this a suitable pace? Is everyone keeping up? Everyone making use of the workbook? I'm going to grab another swig of water. So just let me know in the chats box, in the comments box, let me know how we're doing. Let's check my time too. Cool, 3:30, excellent. Cool, loving it. Brilliant, cool. I'm just having a look on the Facebook on my phone as well, so I can actually see who's posting what. So hey everybody, it's really awesome to have you all here. Brilliant. Okay, cool. Excellent, all good, sweet. All right, team, let's keep on keeping on. And Clifton Strengths. Yeah, that's right. It is. Yep, you're right. Cool. Okay, so we've looked at defining your niche and your unique selling point. The next step in the puzzle is to develop your prospect profile. What that means in reality. Well, let's just delve into that because that sounds like a whole bunch of waffle, right? So here we go. Now, your prospect, they are your ideal customer if you're moving into consulting or if you're an existing consultant within the health and safety space or beyond. I know there's a lot of HR people within the entered HSP community these days. You may also want to be thinking about if you are in employment and you're looking for your next big job or your next big role, your ideal prospect might be an HR manager that you want to get in front of, or it might be the executive if it's a medium-sized business. So you want to really start to define exactly who that individual, not the company, but the individual, who they are, what makes them tick. Personal demographics, so male, female, age, what level of education are they likely to have, all plays a part in the way in which we present ourselves on LinkedIn. If they are likely to be an older person, it doesn't really make much sense to have super flashy whiz-bang posts or using images that are just quite obnoxious and annoying. Probably wants to be a little bit more formal, for example. Their professional demographics, so what training, what skills, what experience, what level of service are they likely to have provided? Would they, for example, if you're trying to get in front of an HR manager, would it perchance make sense to discover what groups they are already part of within LinkedIn? Now you're starting to get to see how this all kind of starts to fill into place, right? So if you know a lot about the type of the traits of your perfect profile, then you can then start to explore where they like to spend their time. Is it, for example, the Institute of Directors page? Or is it within the HR space? Maybe it's the HRNZ or other alternative HR communities within LinkedIn. Having a bit of a search and finding out where they like to spend their time makes a lot of sense, especially if you want to get their attention. Now, it doesn't mean to then spam them to death. What it means is it makes sense to start to engage, perhaps like a few posts within those groups, perhaps comment in a polite and professional manner. Always with the aim of providing additional value to the conversation. Now, if you do that over time, plus other things in the background, such as reaching out to connect with those individuals and using the fact that you are now a member of that professional group as a reason to reach out and to connect to that individual, then all of a sudden there's a number of different connections. It's not suddenly a cold connection request. Hey, Bob, I see you are also a member of Group X. I too am a member of that group and would love to connect. suddenly it's not a kind of cold, creepy connection request. Suddenly there's a bit of connectedness, a bit of warmth to that connection. They then might start to see some of your comments or the fact that you liked one of their posts that they put up there recently. All of a sudden, that cold connection becomes a little bit warmer. And that's one example of how using LinkedIn in a smart way, without being spammy, without being horrible, suddenly can open doors which may otherwise have remained closed. Really, really clever. So the more specific you can get about the type of person, the likely traits, the types of groups that they might hang out with, the types of content that they might enjoy reading, the more likely it is that you can then find some common interests, some common connections, and then be in a position to actually engage with them. So if we take a step back from what we've talked about so far, we've talked about what makes you unique. We've talked about what industries and what kind of makes you tick. Now we're talking about what makes your ideal customer, your ideal employer tick. It's all starting to line up a little bit. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in the next section, because we're going to pull all of this together and we're going to make your profile really sing when it comes to getting the attention of the people that you really want to get in front of. Okay. So hopefully this is all making sense. Those of you that have got the workbooks, work through each of those sections, make sure that you're filling in the blanks, really get to grips with this stuff, because the more effort you put into this, the far better and the more stronger your profile will be, and the far more likely it is that you're going to get the attention of the people that you want to really get the attention of. Cool. All right. Awesome. So we go. So taking notes. So thinking about what your dream job might be. Okay. So pulling it back from really getting into the nuts and bolts of what your ideal customer or your ideal client looks like, thinking a bit more about your passions and your experiences, right? So really spend some time on when has been your happiest moment in your career to date. Really think hard about what's made it stand out. What were some of the traits of the leaders that you worked with at that time that really made it an enjoyable and pleasant experience? Also, perhaps reflect on what made it not so great. What were some of the traits, the characteristics that made life hard for you in the past as well? You're then able to then start to clearly see a bit of a picture as to where you want to be in the future. Obviously, well, ideally, you want to be in a happy space, right? Where you want things to be easy, you want things to flow, you want to be in your passion, you want to be doing the things that you enjoy doing. So think back to previous employment, previous employers and managers that you've worked for in the past, who really made things, awesome for you, and then start to then reflect on what types of personalities, what types of roles and positions they may hold within the LinkedIn space as well. Okay, so we're really trying to get into what those common themes are. All right, cool. Okay, team, I'm just going to take another pause, grab some water. Can we get the presentation later? Yeah, maybe. Look, this presentation will be recorded. It's being recorded on the Facebook page as we speak. So what that means is that if you don't have a copy of the handout to hand at the moment, which by now I think you'd be absolutely crazy not to, 16 pages of awesomeness is right here, and it goes hand in hand with this presentation. So when I'm talking about the details and really getting into the nuts and bolts of this is going to make all the difference. Okay, so the link to this is in the event space within the NZHSP Facebook group. It's also in the little live video I did earlier on today to remind you all to be here today. So by all means, get this. It's free. Just grab it and use it. Okay, so you can come back and refer to this video a bit later, and you can go back time and time again to the handout to help. Okay, cool. Any other thoughts, any feedback, any aha moments that you would like to share before I take us through to the next stage of this presentation? I'm just going to grab another swig. I promise it's water. Okay, Okay, looks like everyone's happy. Awesome. All right, looks like we're good to go. All right, team. So next section, creating your authority leadership statement. Language that speaks directly to those that you want to spend your valuable time with. Okay, so we've defined our niche. We've explored our unique selling point. What makes us fundamentally different and stand out head and shoulders above the rest? It may not feel that you've got that right now. Okay, it might not feel that because you don't have the necessary letters behind your name or the number of years of experience. I assure you that none of that actually matters when it comes to passion, when it comes to the ability of knowing yourself, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing when to put your hand up to say, I don't know the answer, but you know what? I'm going to go and find it out, and I'll come back and let you know exactly what it is. Those types of traits are the ones that businesses are looking for right now. So don't overthink it. Don't knock yourself if you don't feel that you have got the experience. The defining your niche and your unique selling point. Everyone has got a story to tell. Okay, developing your prospect profile, thinking hard about your perfect employer or client. What has been a great experience in the past? What hasn't been so great? Boiling it down, really getting into it. And now we're going to look at your authority leadership statement. Okay, so your authority leadership statement. This is where we start to tie all of this good stuff together. All right, so what do I mean by that? Well, this is your profile page. This is where the rubber hits the road. Okay, so you've done the hard yards. You've thought about all of this stuff that I've just mentioned, and now you have spent some time in these community groups. You've spent some time posting, or at least liking, and maybe commenting, attempting to provide some value to the discussions that are taking place on LinkedIn. Perhaps you've got the attention of one or two people that are ideal customers or ideal employers, and then they click on your profile image, which takes them through to your profile landing page. And the first thing they see, drum roll, is someone wearing shades, holding a big fish on a boat. Doesn't really tell me much about this person other than they enjoy their free time. That's awesome. Amazing fish. I'm very jealous of the fact that they've caught a fish that size. However, when it comes to first impressions and thinking about, is this someone that I would like to engage with and perhaps invite into my business to help? Possibly not. Also, when we, I'll just make the image a little bit bigger. When we look at the description, we think back to the first part of this presentation. I help small business owners foster safety and empower their team to succeed. Cool. Business owners, very broad. Okay, so it doesn't tell us anything about the industry. It doesn't tell us anything about their uniqueness. It just tells us that they like to help businesses. Just happens that I do something around safety and success. Hooray. So it's really vague. And I see these types of profiles on LinkedIn all the time. Okay, if this is similar to your own profile, please don't kick yourself. Okay, it's all good. Lots and lots of people are making this mistake. This is why you're here today, is to be able to put yourself in a position to stand head and shoulders above the competition. This is why we're here. This is what we're doing this. Okay. All right. So next slide. It's an example of we're getting a little bit better. Profile picture's a little bit clearer, so we can at least see the face, but we've still got a big pair of sunglasses, right? So I instantly feel disengaged. I can't get a sense of who this person is. We've got a little bit more detail in the description. I help small business owners foster safety and empower their team to succeed. Okay, cool. By systematically building culture and engaging workers. Oh, okay. So we've got some current topical words bubbling around in there. I can assure you, lots of businesses at the moment are talking culture, and a lot of businesses are talking about engaging workers. They have no idea how, but they know that it's important. So this is starting to resonate with the types of businesses, the types of customers that I personally would like to be talking to. So we're starting to get a little bit more traction, a little bit more detail, but still there's room for improvement. Now we've got Molly. we've got a profile picture that is friendly. We've got a smile. Smiling's fine. You're allowed to smile. It's all good. We've got a plain background, which makes it very simple and easy for us to see. She's wearing professional clothes. Great. So straight away, first impressions, I'm thinking, okay, this is someone who's here to talk business. I help small business owners foster safety and empower the team to succeed. By systematically building culture and engaging workers, our clients are able to grow their businesses, sleep easy at night, and know that they have safety covered. So now we're talking about emotions. We are identifying the fact that some of the businesses and the business leaders out there are having trouble sleeping because they are worried about legal obligations. They're worried that they've missed something critical and that people are unknowingly potentially going to be harmed. There's still room for improvement there, no doubt. We could still get into the specifics of what industry that Molly likes to work in, but we're starting to appeal to emotion. We're starting to talk about results. We're talking about engagement. We're talking about culture. Molly, out of all of these free profiles, is far more likely to be the person who gets the message or the phone call or the email to say, hey, we're a business that needs help. Would you be prepared to come in? Or is far more likely to have a positive response to a CV or a resume that she's sent in to respond to a job opportunity. Does this make sense? I'm going to pause here until I hear some feedback from you guys. Is this resonating? Is this hitting home? Suddenly the importance of doing your unique proposition, understanding what makes you stand out from others, understanding your ideal client or your ideal customer or your ideal employer. By boiling that all down, suddenly we can then talk that language and speak about it using our profile space. So what's the story, team? Is this making sense? All right. Sorry, I'm pushing buttons. Here we go. Cool. Perfect. Awesome. Making sense. Thank you. All right. Any thoughts, comments, feedback? Just anything really. Has there been an aha moment? Is this I really do need to go back and spend some time on my LinkedIn profile? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll just grab another sip of water, and then I'll take us through to the final part of this presentation. Cool. Okay. Nice. All right. Thanks, everybody. All right. So here is my profile. A couple of things I'm going to talk about here. A review of my profile. I need to spend lots of time on my profile. Okay, that's cool. It's all good. Like I said before, right? Please don't beat yourself up. Okay. How much training is there on LinkedIn profiles really at the moment out there? Not a lot. Social media is still treated as if it's a nice to have, or it's a fad. It's not going to be around for much longer. People have been saying that for a decade plus now. It's not going away. Yellow Pages is well and truly gone. The first place I go when I hear about a new practitioner, or if I hear about a new business, or I'm looking for a new client within a particular region, it's LinkedIn where I go and spend time. And 99% of the profiles make some really basic errors. And so this is why we're here today, is to help tidy up some of those basic errors and really help make your impact. Okay, so looking at my profile, we'll see at the top, we've got the background. A lot of people's backgrounds remain blank. You've just got the kind of the standard and scribbly lines in the background. It's such a wasted opportunity. It's a space where you can get a template using like Canva. CANVA is a free template graphic designs site. You can jump on there Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm definitely sharing that. It's been on my to-do list for ages. Yeah, so I'm still considered a grad NZISM, which has been replaced by professional NZISM. So, yep, you're absolutely right. I do need to update this. But you can see straight off the bat, Matt Jones, I empower business leaders to champion health and safety. This needs to be updated. I should actually say Matt Jones empowering construction or project management leaders to champion health and safety. Got my logo, got my name in bold letters. Beneath that, I've got this little banner that says that I'm Hassan's registered, professional NZISM registered, premium partner of Safe 365. The options are really limitless, right? Now, there's on Canva, it's free. You can jump on there and you can find templates for all sorts of things. Your Facebook profile page, Facebook events. They give you the proper size and scale, and all you need to do is just plunk in the details, and boom, you've got what you need. My profile image, smiley face. I broke my own rules. I said that it should be a really plain background, probably a little bit green and leafy in the background for that profile picture, but it does the job. Then we talk about why my niche, what makes me stand out above the rest. I'm a founding director. I coach construction executives. I'm Hassan's registered, NZHSP founder, a member of the Canterbury Safety Charter Board. I'm using every spare letter. Basically your profile, you've got a limited number of letters and words that you can use. Make the most of it. Fill up that space as much as you can. Really putting in your mind not what you want to put in there, but what your ideal client or your ideal employer wants to know, wants to read, wants to hear. Really thinking about some of those unique characters, those unique stories that you can tell, and making the very most of this space. Okay, so hopefully that's making sense. So use this space, okay, and definitely by all means use the banner, because so many people neglect to use it to its fullest. It's all there. Okay, right. And then you've got the about section. So again, you've got a limited number of letters or characters that you can use, and I've used it to tell my story. Okay, I haven't written this like a CV. I certainly haven't written this in third person. I see that mistake being made all the time. Matt Jones is an outstanding character. I don't care. Tell me a little bit about who Matt Jones is. Me, I'm a father of 5. I mentor and volunteer my time. I am passionate about helping business leaders and teams find their confidence and discover what they are truly capable of. I'm I'm painting a picture of someone who is going to come in, is going to help to identify the issues for that business, and then empower and inspire the team and the resource that they've currently got to become self-sufficient. Right. So my role, my job is to eventually step back and say, right, my job's done. Go for gold. If you want me to come back and review in 3, 6, 12 months from now to see how you guys are going, I'm very happy to do that. If you're comfortable and feel confident to move forward by yourselves, high fives all around, chocolate fish, job done. Yeah, that's the type of language that I'm putting out there, because that's my approach. I have spent a lot of time on this. I've spent a long time reworking it, rejigging it. This is only half of the about section. You do have quite a few characters that you can put in here. The second half of this I've used as an opportunity to put in a brief testimonial from one of my clients. So here's a bit about me, blah, blah, blah. And underneath that is, here's a way to demonstrate that this isn't just the Matt Jones show. This has actually been backed up by other people's experience. Make full use of this space. Again, I see this either being left blank, or there's just a couple of lines that tells me that you're passionate about health and safety and you want to help business. And then I'm just completely disengaged and away I go. Okay, so make full use of this, because we've done all that hard work, right? You have spent time liking people's posts. You've provided some value. You've provided a little bit of content in perhaps in a professional group. And then all of that hard effort is then led to someone to push on your profile to figure out who you are, and then it is all let down because your profile image is a bit rubbish or a bit dated, or is missing some of the key things that I've talked about. Okay. Once again, use the workbook. It's all there to help with this process. Okay. Now, I'm aware of the time, so I've got a few minutes left before I let you go. So right now, many of you will be working through this and going, right, awesome, got it. I'm going to go and I'm going to go smash my profile. I'm going to sort out my unique proposition. I'm going to identify exactly the client that I want to be working with, exactly my next employer. I'm going to identify who I need to speak to, and I'm going to get in front of their faces in a professional and in a unique and authentic way, not salesy, authentic. Okay. And then 2 days passes and the inbox is full, voice messages are coming in, you get distracted, and then you think back and go, what was that presentation all about again? What was Matt talking about? The profile picture, and was I meant to smile? What about the sunglasses? I can't remember. Well, this is the kind of thing that happens to all of us, right? It's human nature. New ideas take a heap of time to become habitual. They talk about it taking at least 30 days to instill a new habit, whether it's reading for 20 minutes a day, or whether it's going for that run or getting to the gym. Initially, it's go. And then after a couple of days, a couple of weeks, it all just starts to fall apart. Priorities change, new urgent work comes through. And we all have the best intentions, but eventually that can rapidly turn into frustration and resignation. Okay. So as I said at the very beginning of this presentation, I promised that there'd be lots of content. I promised that I would go through a lot of material very, very quickly. But I also promised that I would steer you towards where you can find some additional help and some additional guidance. So that's what I'm going to do now with your permission, team. So for the last couple of minutes, I just wanted to talk through how we can help. In September, we launched the Safety Tribe Accelerator program. Numerous people jumped on board. It's a community of safety practitioners who, even now, within a matter of weeks, are increasing their income, widening their networks, and beginning to create time to spend with their families. Others have gone off to really push hard on the projects that they've been working diligently on, such as setting up their own businesses or getting ready for retirement, which is amazing. And we are helping them work their way through this as a community. We make use of the Your Genius model and a goal planner. We then back that up with weekly live 1 hour group coaching calls, not too dissimilar to this, where I'll do a presentation for 5 or 10 minutes on a monthly focus, and then we'll then break the group down into our smaller parts and work through our action plan. We've established our 3-year vision all the way down to 12 monthly plans, our 90-day projects, our bite-sized chunk projects, and then our weekly actions that are going to get us closer to those 90-day goals. We're holding each other accountable. And as I said, we are working through this Your Genius program. So each month has a different focus. This month now, we're working through ISO. We've been doing a focus on ISO 45001, ISO integrated management systems. We've been talking about ISO good governance guidance, and also ISO 45003, the psychosocial new addition to the ISO collection. So it's a ton of really amazing content that we're all helping each other through, and really turbocharging our results. We're doing a massive piece on the LinkedIn profile, but also a ton more of stuff that I've learned over the years. I've spent thousands of dollars trained on, which I'll be sharing within the tribe. So the profile picture, the unique sales proposition, all that stuff is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more to LinkedIn, which I'll be sharing with the Accelerator program community. So some of the feedback from the crew so far, just within the short space of time that we've been running, Rebecca Davison, she just knocked out 10 promotional videos. She went out and got 10 testimonials from customers, and it's now being edited, and she is just turbocharging her business. Angie says that she's loving the Accelerator program. It's making her feel more accountable and motivated to complete those actions. In the middle there is just a snapshot of the library of resources and materials that sits within the Accelerator program community. There is just so much good stuff that we are working on, and it's all based on this Your Genius model. Fundamentally, it's all about systems. It's all about identifying our purpose. What is it that keeps us getting up each day and trying to make that the world a better place? And also money, something that we don't really talk much about. But because of that, often we feel that we're not being appreciated and we're being undervalued within our professional experience. I'm a big believer that health and safety is well and truly undervalued, that the legal profession is getting paid a ton load more money than us, but we are actually the ones on the coalface. We're the ones making the decisions day in, day out. And I want to help our community to understand that and to start to demand for more, but in a really smart way. And we're going to be exploring that through the Accelerator program. So that's the Accelerator program. As I promised, that's where I believe you'll get the guidance, you'll get the motivation, you'll be inspired, and you will also be able to inspire others to hit their goals too as a community. So look, I'm not doing a spiel, I'm not doing a sales, I'm not asking for any money. All I'm simply saying is this is happening in the background. I'm really excited about it. This is a small taster of what we are doing in the background with the Accelerator program. If you'd like to know a little bit more about it, all you need to do is send me a direct message, either through the Facebook page or an email, a text, whatever it is. I can be easily contacted anywhere. And I'll just simply send you some further details. That's it. There's no hook. There's no sales pitch. There's nothing. I just simply wanted to raise your awareness to some really epic stuff that's going on in the background and preparing you all for a really massive year next year, regardless of what's happening in the world. 2022 is going to be a really big year. There's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of people making a lot of changes and a lot of life decisions. And I really want to help set you guys up for the best 2022 that you can have. So that's me in a nutshell. That's my presentation on LinkedIn. I hope that you've got lots of value from it. There's lots and lots of things to take on board and to think about. Do make the very most of those workbooks. They're there for you. Once upon a time, I used to sell this training at a premium, and I'm giving it away because, well, let's just face it, we've got to do something different. We've got to raise the bar. I keep hearing this statement all over the show. Let's do it. All right. So look, I hope you had some value. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments. Was this something of value to you? Would you like me to do more training like this in the future? I'll be very happy to. It's part of what I do. As I said in my profile, I like to volunteer my time. But if, like I said before, if you really want to get the very best out of me, the best place to go is at the Accelerator. So look, just reach out. Let me know if you want to know a little bit more, and I'll flick you through the details. Cool. All right, team. I wish you all the very best. Have a wicked rest of the day. Have a great end to the week. And I'll see many of you hopefully in the not too distant future. Cool. All right. So it looks like you guys want some more training. Epic. Coming up in the near future, for those who can stick around for a bit longer, next week, I'm doing a presentation on vaccines. The do's and don'ts. So I'll be dabbling on the legal side of things. I'll be dabbling in the HR space, and also more specifically around how to risk assess from a health and safety point of view. How are we going to deal with the avalanche of questions and issues that the vaccine is inevitably going to be bringing to the workplace if it hasn't in your workplace already. Awesome. Thanks. Missed the beginning, but enjoyed what I did watch. Cool. This recording will be available within the group in a short space of time. If you do watch the recording, be sure to type in watching the recording. Feel free to comment through this. Be sure to get hold of the workbooks. What else is coming up? So we've got the vaccines next week. The week after that, I'm going to be doing the Turning the Tide presentation again. So I did the Turning the Tide the celebration of my ebook that I launched last year. It's been refreshed this year. Anyone who attends the Turning the Tide presentation, which will take place in a fortnight's time, will get a copy of the ebook for free, plus a whole heap of downloads, including an ISO 45001 readiness checklist, no cost. And you'll also get to hear a little bit more about the Accelerator program there as well. So look, guys, I really need to keep on trucking too. I've got a couple of appointments I need to get to. Thank you for joining me. I'm really glad that you got some value out of this, and I will see you all very soon. So until next time, take care, and we'll speak soon. Okay, see you all. Bye.